We got Superhuman Troy on the pod. I've been really pumped about this one. The guy is a beast in all aspects, it seems like, as far as fitness goes and business. And I'm really excited to just dive into a bunch of different things, specifically about how you've built Alpha Lion.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where I want to start. And also, Inc. 5000 founder last year, number 688, I believe, right?
Something like that,
688?
Yeah. We forgot to apply the most recent year, but I think 2022, 688.
That's impressive, dude. But I want to know, like, take us back. How did it start?
Don't they say if you're not first, you're last? We're 688.
I mean, you got all
but to
the
be fair, that
industries in
list, it makes it easier the less revenue you have, because it's obviously the more revenue. It's based on growth rate.
Mm-hmm.
Percentage growth. Huh?
Over 3 years, right? It's like over
correct,
3
yeah.
years. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, let's jump into that. I mean, you're in the supplements business. I'm not in the supplements business, but I would imagine as an outsider looking in, it seems to be very like quote unquote saturated.
Yeah.
How do you take a supplement business, which I feel like it's hard to stand out in the supplement game because, you know, you got everybody selling whey protein and creatine and pre-workout.
For sure.
How were you able to stand out in such a competitive industry?
Yeah, great question. I think that at the start, myself and Jordan, the other co-founder, we were big into working out. We kind of knew a lot about the supplement space. We've been taking pre-workout and protein, creatine, all that stuff for years. Mm-hmm. And at the time in 2017 when we started, supplements was such a dodgy space. I don't know kind of as an outsider how you kind of perceive the space now, but it was so dodgy. Like the supplement companies, a lot of them were really shady. And we started the company just because we wanted to create something that we would be comfortable putting in our body. We wanted to create something that we'd be proud to take, that we'd love to recommend friends and family and different fitness enthusiasts.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess as an outsider looking in, it always seemed like it was just some influencer throwing their label on, like, some private label stuff. And, like, it didn't seem like that credible, I guess. So,
right.
Yeah. I could see how the industry got like that.
It's changed a lot. So in 2017, influencer marketing really wasn't that popular.
Oh, okay.
And that wasn't that long ago. We're talking like less than 7 years ago. So it was kind of like the supplement industry was dominated by legacy brands that hadn't really elevated and innovated their formulas or their marketing. So when we entered the space, it was really easy to formulate something where we could kind of do comparative advertising. We could be like, look at our pre-workout. We give you the exact dosages. We're not hiding it under a proprietary blend. And believe it or not, back in 2017, like most pre-workouts, they use a proprietary blend. So what that means is they will hide the exact dosage of an ingredient under a blend. So they'll list a bunch of ingredients, but you won't know how much of each ingredient is in there. And obviously they're doing it to save money. So like the COGS of some of our competitors back then, they'd be making pre-workouts for like $2-3. And they would sell it in Walmart and big retail places. So we saw an opportunity just to really elevate the formulas and just create something that we'd want to take ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys have a wild story about from the research I did on the Alpha Lion website.
Yeah.
So like, take us back. Like, I know you throughout your whole 20s. I think you and your co-founder have very similar stories where it's like all through your 20s, you tried this business, you tried that business, and just couldn't make anything work, and then finally hit your stride with Alpha Lion. So take us back to like the 20s. You're just getting started. What businesses were you starting? That whole journey of just trying and failing, and then stumbling upon Alpha Lion.
Yeah, so back when I was in college, it was just sort of like becoming a thing to make money on the internet. Like, I feel old saying that, but like when I was in college, I was weird that I made money like freelancing. Like I used to write blog articles.
Okay.
So I knew a lot about fitness and working out. So I started making pretty good money at the time on a website called Elance, which is now Upwork. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I think the number 1 or number 2 profile for just health and fitness freelancing. So I'd be able to make like $100-200 an hour in college, just kind of like at my own leisure, just writing articles. And then I'm like, well, how are they making money? Why are they paying me this money to write this article about this chest workout or whatever it was?
Yeah.
So I just kind of I went down the rabbit hole. I read like Tim Ferriss's books and like $1 Million Fast Lane and all those different books. And I just started to get really curious on internet marketing. And I just sort of like merged my passion for fitness and internet marketing. But it took so long to finally create something that was profitable. So my first idea that I thought was going to make me a millionaire was this program called Science of Abs. So that was my old business partner. And this is at the time when like info products are really popular. So my friend who I met, I'm trying to think what year, maybe like 2009 or 10. So he was like young dude. He was like early to mid 20s. He was making like, I don't know, $400,000 or $500,000 a year. He was just selling a workout program from a YouTube channel. He had this thing called the Weight Gain Blueprint. And it was like the top digital program for skinny guys to bulk up and gain weight. And he would just dominate Google and like YouTube on like how to bulk up fast or foods to gain weight. And he just sold this like $70 PDF. So I kind of saw the trend of like, oh wow, you can actually make a living and like make really good money. And then I had this idea for a similar program called Science of Abs that I partnered with him on. And he just never could dedicate like the time and resources to it. We always talked about it, but then his business started declining, and it just one of those projects that was just in limbo for like 2 years. And it like really caused me a lot of financial trouble because we literally never made a profit from it.
So were you like full time trying to do that?
No, I was doing freelance like at the time. I was actually, so he hired me to be the face of his YouTube channel at the time. So that's kind of like what was paying my bills. So I was like the face of a YouTube channel back in 2013 through like 16. And I was like the face of his brand Weight Gain Network. So that kind of got me into like video production and like YouTube and into that. And it wasn't like a popular, cool thing to be a YouTuber in like 2013. Like you were weird. Like people were like, how do you even make money? It didn't even make sense. So I did that. And then, yeah, I think around 2016, 17 is when I met Jordan, my current business partner, and we both had similar experiences. We like a lot of failed businesses. We both knew a lot about fitness and internet marketing, and we were just, you know, at the perfect age where we're just like, we have to make something work like right now or it's not going to happen.
How old were you guys?
At the time we met, we were like 29, 30-ish.
Okay. And he's from Australia. Was he born in Australia?
Yeah, so he's from the Gold Coast of Australia.
Okay. How'd you guys meet?
So we actually met through like, I think it was Elance or Upwork at the time, and he hired me to be like, he hired me for some one-off job. So he was doing some marketing for some brand. It was like a green tea brand or something. And I remember the job paid really well. And I was like, okay, I don't really want to do it, but it was like, I don't know, $2,000 job, and it would only take me a couple hours. So I took it, and I met Jordan, and then we instantly just hit it off. I had just started my YouTube channel. He saw that I had kind of like, I was more of a creative. I like being on camera. I could do content. He's a pure like CEO operational type. So I think that when we met, it was just the perfect storm of our skill sets were way different. We were at that perfect age where we knew a lot about the industry. We were hungry for success. And we like pretty much talked every day for a couple months. And then from there, Alpha Line was born.
It's funny because we have like a little bit of a similar story where we have a third business partner who's in Canada that we didn't meet. Like we ended up partnering with him in the business, but didn't meet him until we had made over like $1 million in the business. And like that was something similar with you guys, right? Like you guys started it and then didn't meet till like a couple of months later.
It's crazy to like tell people the story because I think in their head they're like, these guys are crazy, you know? Like who starts a business with somebody you've never met? But like we talked on Skype at the time. Like who uses Skype anymore? But like back then we were using Skype and we talked every day. And like I just felt like we had so much trust and we knew each other like pretty well just from talking so much. And it was all about business too. Like, I don't know. I think it's kind of a dangerous thing to become business partners with a really good friend, like that you have years of friendship with. Cause like us, we were able to move so quick. It was just like 98% of our talks was just like moving the business forward. Not that we're not like friends and get along great and like can, you know, go to dinner and talk about other stuff. But in the early stages, like we both knew the importance of like, we need to get this shit working.
Yeah. And how did you guys stumble upon the idea to both go into supplements? Or was it even a supplement company at the beginning? Because I imagine there's some evolution there. So
I remember the name Alpha Lion came from, I thought it would be a cool apparel company back in like 2014 or like 15. This is way before like Alphalete. A lot of people think we ripped off like Alphalete because of like the naming structure, but like we had no idea who they even were. And we had that name I had that name for years before that. So yeah, sorry, what was the original question?
How'd you guys pick supplements as the core business?
Oh, so we both had a lot of experience with supplements. So like he had done a lot of marketing for like different green tea companies and kind of like shady weight loss, gimmicky kind of like drink this tea and flush out fat.
Shit you're watching at like 2 a.m. that comes on.
Yeah, so he was doing at the time actually, when I met Jordan, he was actually running the marketing for a huge fitness influencer in Australia. And he was making like at the time it seemed like, holy shit, this guy's like crushing it. He was making like $100,000 a month from a supplement company just off people using his code and getting a salary. So he was crushing it. This was like 2016, and he was just marketing on Instagram. He had a huge following at the time. So we knew a lot about the space. We saw that there was huge money in it, and we saw there was most importantly an opportunity to create something better than like what was already out there. So if you start a supplement company today, there's so much more competition. But in 2017, like there was not many companies with really good products and formulas.
That makes sense. Did you guys raise any money, or was it completely bootstrapped?
Completely bootstrapped.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, which was like a hustle the first. So we didn't pay ourselves a penny until maybe close to the 2-year mark. So we had to hustle to get by. Like we did some consulting stuff. Like we created a program for a guy. Like we were just hustling back then.
I mean, yeah, because I would imagine like you guys being like growing so fast in a like e-commerce business, like that requires a ton of inventory, right? Things like that. Yeah. So it just sucks to cash out of the business. Yeah. So I mean, like, how'd you guys manage that? Or like
we had a little bit of savings. Like a lot of our sales at the start just came from organic. Like I had a YouTube channel, so I would just document. Like I remember I had a whole series like creating the perfect pre-workout. It was like a 5-part series, and it was just all about like I went to the manufacturer and I was sampling stuff. We were going through formulas and flavors, and we were really transparent with kind of like how we were trying to create the product, and we were able to get a lot of like organic sales from that. So we didn't spend a lot on paid media like back then. We kind of like slowly ramped up ad spend when we had like more money in the bank, but it was just like it was a very slow process looking back.
Is that when Superhuman Troy was born? Like around that time? Like your personal brand and YouTube channel and all that?
I had my original YouTube channel name was Superhuman U. That's how I have like the YouTube subscriber plaque for 100K, and it says Superhuman U on it. So I was always fixated with this name Superhuman. And the third product we ever created was called Superhuman Pre-Workout. I'm like, how is this not the name of a product already? Like, it's crazy.
That's a badass
So
name.
we got so lucky getting that IP. So this is a whole nother like topic, but basically like Superhuman will be its own brand. So someday down the road, there's going to be Elfline, and like Superhuman will be its own brand, is likely like an energy brand. So it's sort of like one of those things where when we dropped Superhuman Pre-Workout, it just went crazy. Like it was in retail stores. The feedback was it was selling out like faster than any product. And the formula was really good. And we just saw something early on that there's people just resonate with that word, you know, like it means something to everybody. Like everyone has their own definition, but I feel like to be superhuman, like my definition, is just to become the greatest ultimate version of yourself.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I love it. Superhuman, it's a badass brand name for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell us, because, I mean, bootstrapping, especially an e-commerce company, like Sergio said, where you're buying product, like, it's got to be a pain in the ass. So every founder, every entrepreneur has a story of, like, dude, I didn't know how I was going to make payroll. It was due, like, yesterday. What's that story for you and, like, the journey of building it? Do you have one like that?
I mean, I remember the early days of like just starting the company. I remember I had like the lowest point of my life was when I was like dead broke, and I was living in California, and the only place I could find that I could afford, it was like this lady, she owned a food truck, and it was like she had a property. It was like a trailer and like a house. And then she had her food truck, and I remember it was $300 a week. I found it on Airbnb, and I remember living there like 1 month, and I'm like, I just remember being so miserable.
And that was already like when you were building Elfline.
This was like just the very, very start
of
Elfline. And then I think like the story that I think of is just like, not really like a specific time or like incident, but I just remember like being so excited the first day we were actually going to pay ourselves like a small salary. Because I remember like I went through, we'd be like, oh, maybe it's 6 months we'll be able to. And then my business partner is like, much more financially responsible than me. Like he's like, I don't want to say he's very good with like numbers and the financial side of the business. So he's like, no, like we need to put it back in the business. Like he understood that the more we put it back into the business, the faster we're going to grow and the more that we would benefit. So he was like very good with that.
And how much were you making at the time? Like as a company, like the first time you guys got to pay yourselves?
I would say maybe like $1 million revenue a year range.
Okay.
I remember 2017, we were only like operating as a business for like 5 or 6 months, but I think we only did like 100, 20,000 or something. And then the next year, it would have been like after the next year wrapped around, yeah, probably about $1 million.
Dang. Okay.
And then you built it up. You built it up. As far as what it is now, how can you give us a sense as to size, revenue, employee count, and that type of thing?
Yeah, for sure. So I actually got a head count today on employees. It is 49, counting full-time U.S. and some international contractors. And then revenue, I won't tell you like specific like what we did, last year, our run rate, but I can tell you we've done like well over 100 million so far. And in 2017, we did like nothing. So most of that is very recently in like the last 18 months or so.
It's a big business.
That's insane.
Yeah, for sure.
Dude, how do you even go, like, because, okay, I mean, just context about us, like we started window cleaning company back in 2017, like around the same time. Built that up for a bit, sold that, and then started Home Service Academy. And first year off the rip, we did, like 2.8 million?
Home Service Academy 2.8.
Yeah, 2.8. And then last year, did 3.6, right? You went from, start to like 100 million in sales in like the 4 or 5 years.
Right.
I know you said your business partner is like good operator, but like not everyone can do that. Like what?
Especially with no funding.
Yeah. Dude. So I guess my question that I'm trying to get at is like, what give you guys like the ability, the skill set to like lead, manage people and like get to that level?
Yeah, that's a great question. I know the thing that I didn't really predict when we started the company is just how important people and processes become. So now, especially with our company now, it's all about hiring like the best people in like marketing and, paid media, creative department. So how we were able to scale, and I don't think we really understood this back when we even started the company, but the thing with supplements that I really like is there's a couple huge sales channels. So like my business partner comes from a paid media background. So pretty early on, we've been running meta ads. It's weird calling it meta, like Facebook meta, whatever you want to call it. Like we've been running those since 2019. So my business partner, he's a paid media guy. He's a data guy. We've been able to elevate our paid media and our spend and our ROAS like year over year. So we're spending way more like this year than we did say 2-3 years ago. And like every single year we've ramped up the ad spend profitably. So the thing with supplements is you have D2C, which is, of course, a byproduct of organic traffic, influencers, paid media. And then Amazon is huge. So we crush it on Amazon. I think we're the number 2 pre-workout brand on Amazon last year, only behind C4 Cellucor, which is like a multi-billion-dollar corporation.
Yeah.
So if you like added up the revenue of like all the Superhuman pre-workout SKUs, I think we were number 2 only behind all the different C4s. And then also retail. So we're in every GNC in North America. We're in a bunch of thousands of mom and pop stores. There's a ton of runway for international expansion. So, I mean, I think like in a lot of different industries, you don't have 3 sales channels. You can make 8 figures plus on all 3. So that's a game changer for us. So like there's so much organic search traffic for pre-workout. We rank really high in high volume categories on Amazon. And then Amazon and retail, it's a snowball effect of your awareness everywhere. So like we launched our influencer program. We partnered with like big celebrities. Like we partnered with Ken Griffey Jr. We partnered with some of the biggest fitness influencers in the world, creating tens of millions of impressions on social media. So I look at Amazon and retail is like, that's the snowball effect of just awareness and impressions, which I think we've done a really good job on.
So, okay, you guys are just phenomenal marketers and that's what it comes down to, right? Like being able to get your product out there and in front of as many people as possible.
Yeah, I think though, but if you don't have great like branding and a good product, like I don't think it's going to do much.
Yeah. True.
So I think like we really nailed the branding. Like I think the name Superhuman is so strong. Like I would pick the name Superhuman over any name in the dictionary for like a performance product.
Yeah.
And I feel like people would go in stores and they wouldn't even know who we were in like 2020 and they would just gravitate towards like the Superhuman pre-workout. So I think like the flavors are really important. Like we trademark different flavor names. Like we have weird trademarks. We have like Slaughtermelon. It's like our watermelon lemonade. We have Grapezilla. We have like all these cool
I saw Hulk juice.
Hulk juice, yeah.
Dude,
so we have like all these different IPs, kind of like Liquid Death. They have like these crazy names like Mango Chainsaw and like Dead Billionaire, all these crazy names. So like we're like back in 2019, that was kind of our thought process is just like make it really fun. Don't be boring. Like, that's another thing is when we started the company, it was all about being like making fitness more fun. It's like so many little like cookie cutter formulas. The branding is boring. They're weird names. And we just wanted to make things fun and kind of like create an emotion with our product.
Who would you say is like your main avatar, like the person that buys your product the most?
I would say like men and women gym enthusiasts. Like, you're going to the gym. You're not necessarily trying to be a pro bodybuilder, but you're definitely going to the gym 3 to 7 times a week. Definitely like, you're trying to build muscle or burn fat, probably 20s and 30s. But we also have a stock called the Dad Bod Destroyer that it just took off like wildfire. I think a lot of it is just the name, like Dad Bod Destroyer. People thought it was like funny and catchy. And we run a lot of ads for that, and it's done really, really well. So we've helped like a lot of men over 30 like lose weight, which is a massive pain point. So that's like another one of our paid media strategies that's done really well.
I'm seeing a trend of just you guys. I'm curious, do you guys have like some type of formula as to how you name things? Because it just seems like you guys are really good at naming things. Superhuman, Alpha Line's a badass name. You got the Dad Bod Destroyer.
Yeah.
All the different flavors you just laid out.
Right. So a lot of it is just coming from myself and, the creative department, my good friend Cordero, who works in the creative department. A lot of like, we need like a different flavor name or product name. It just kind of starts with us ideating. And like I said, I'm more of a creative guy. My business partner is he's the operational guy. He's great with data and numbers. So I think you need both to really scale like a D2C brand. Like, it's got to be fun. It's got to be memorable. And obviously you got to have the data and the numbers to back it up.
Yeah, I'm curious how the org structure is, because you guys are, high 8 figures, 9-figure business now at this point.
Right.
What does the org structure look like? I know I was looking at some of the team on the website, and you have your partner who's CEO, and then your title is face of the brand.
Yeah.
And then you have everyone else, right? So, like, what does the org structure look like? How do your responsibilities differ from Jordan's his name, right?
Yeah,
Jordan's
exactly.
responsibilities.
Yeah, so Jordan's obviously, he's at the top. Basically, myself and Jordan are the two majority equity holders. There's a few people who own equity as well at this point. So Jordan's at the top as CEO. I don't necessarily have like a specific job role on the org chart. I bounce around between kind of being the face of the brand and scripting and concepting a lot of our advertisements. I'm involved a lot in the creative department. I'm involved a lot in our like athlete and celebrity endorsements. So for instance, when we signed Ken Griffey Jr., we had to go to his house and we had this big production. So I was like, heavily involved in the scripts, the concepts, building that relationship. So I just kind of like, I do what's needed week to week, and my role is kind of always changing. But like under Jordan, we have like a VP of marketing we just brought on that's really strong. We have different levels, creative strategist. We have like a senior creative strategist. We have a director of growth, a paid media buyer, a whole big customer service team. We have a full-time athlete manager. We have the social media and content team. So yeah, it's definitely a much bigger operation than it was years ago.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And how about, do you guys have any sales reps? I'm curious, because I know some e-commerce companies
do. Yeah, I know. I've totally forgot. We have obviously like a COO who's really strong. We have a director of finance. We have sales reps for every single region. We have like an international sales rep. We have like Midwest, West. It's kind of, we have like a VP of retail sales. Then it's broken up by regions.
Okay, let me just interrupt real quick to tell you about Home Service Academy. It's the company Sergio and I run. Home Service Academy is essentially a business in the box where our team will actually roll up our sleeves and help you build a house cleaning business and run it completely remotely from anywhere in the world, from dirt to however big you actually want to take it. To date, we've helped over 1,500 people start and grow their existing house cleaning businesses all across the US and Canada. It's something we've gotten very, very good at. And if you've been looking to dip your toe into entrepreneurship, whether that's to go full-time in a business, to replace an income, or just build a side hustle that produces you an extra whatever amount of money you want to make on the side, on top of your current 9-to-5, then click the link in the bio and book a call with our team. It's completely free, and at the very least, you'll see what it looks like to actually run one of these businesses, the time commitments, the amount of money it costs to actually start, and every good and bad thing that can come with running one of these. So again, if that's something you're interested in, click the link in the bio, and let's get back to the pod.
I just want to like selfishly ask, like, what is the difference between what Jordan does and like the COO?
The COO?
Yeah.
So the COO is not involved at all in like product development and like the marketing department. So like Jordan's directly responsible for the marketing department, the paid media department, all that falls under Jordan. The COO is just making sure things are running seamlessly. So he's not involved in any marketing calls. he's not involved in like giving feedback on like names and all that good stuff. So yeah,
just like real like focus on the people and processes, like you said.
Cost savings, 3PLs, like he's visited our manufacturer a bunch of times. He's always trying to cost save, find strategies to maybe bulk buy certain ingredients. So yeah, it's more just pure operation side of things.
Dang. Do you ever look back on, like what you built? Just kind of like reminisce, like, dude, it's crazy like how far it's come in like the few years.
I do. I think back of a lot of different scenarios of what I'd be doing right now if I didn't just happen to meet Jordan and we didn't start this thing. And it, like, what if we started this thing and then it just fizzled and 2 years go by? I'm like, okay, well, it didn't work. See you later.
Yeah.
So I think about that a lot. And I think there's so much luck that goes into success, but it's kind of like, I like to consider myself someone who failed a lot that just finally succeeded. And in my head, I was never going to give up. So if I didn't start Alpha Line, I'd probably to this day still be trying to do something. I just knew that my only path to happiness was going to be like owning my own thing and putting like my own creative energy into something. So like I was willing to go until I was like 50 years old and just keep on trying shit.
Dude, that's like the true essence of like entrepreneurship.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think if I wasn't doing Alpha Line, I'd probably just be like way deep into like YouTube. Like I just put all my time into YouTube because I do just love creating. Like to me, that's pretty cool. Even if you like, it's tough to scale unless you're like Mr. Beast and you create this like, $1 billion CPG brand from all the awareness. But like, that's a pretty cool life if you can make 20, 30, 40, 50K a month and you're just making videos based on whatever the hell you want to make. Like that doesn't sound that bad either. But I'd probably be doing something like that if it wasn't Alpha Line.
Dude, that's interesting. I mean,
I was just gonna ask. So I mean, you've gotten Alpha Line to where it's at now. What's kind of the vision, the goal for the company? Is it to sell? You just want to hold on to it forever? I'd imagine people aren't really gonna stay away from consuming protein and wanting to shred fat and gain muscle.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to. At some point, potentially down the road, we might look to exit, but it's definitely like in the short term, we're just focused on just building this company and like building this brand. There's so much that we can do to elevate the brand. So now that we have more money and resources and like talent on the team, I really want to elevate the storytelling. So I want to create as a brand these epic, memorable videos that truly inspire people. And like, to me, like a supplement, obviously you take it for a specific benefit, but I want people to like really emotionally connect with the brand. And like, to me, like, a lot of people take supplements, it's for like that extra kick, that extra motivation. And I feel like the storytelling, there's so much potential with the name Superhuman. So I know there's so much, I can't really reveal like the exact details of what we're, are planning to do with Superhuman, but it's super exciting and I definitely like want to ride that out.
Mm-hmm. You are doing something with on your YouTube channel. You're doing a series, right?
Yeah, so I have a series called Becoming Superhuman. Mm-hmm. So it's basically, I like to position it as it's a YouTube documentary series where I undertake unique and intense challenges in pursuit of becoming superhuman, which is just the best version of myself. So I have like the next 20 episodes planned out. I've only produced a couple of them so far. I think there's 3 of them on the channel right now. So like one, I'm training like an Olympic sprinter and I'm like hiring like one of the fastest people in world history and like going through all this training. So it's stuff that I'm really passionate about. Like I love sprinting. I still love like training to this day. So I just try to, come up with some really inspiring challenges that I'm passionate about creating. And the end goal is just inspire people on their own fitness journey.
Can you give us a little more on like what's coming down the pike as far as different challenges you're doing?
Yeah, so there's one that I'm pretty excited about. So there's this thing called the Impossible Mile. So you run a quarter mile and you do 100 push-ups. You run a quarter mile, you do 100 burpees. Like every quarter mile, you do a different like kind of challenge in between. And I want to try to do that in Death Valley. So it'll be like I try the Impossible Mile in the hottest place on earth. So I want to try to do it on a day when it's like, I don't know, 120 degrees.
So viral.
No way.
Yeah, that's like one of my ideas I think is pretty cool. One of them that I'm probably going to do in the next month is I'm going to do the NFL Combine fitness test and see how I stack up against like NFL players and draftees. I'm really excited about the Olympic sprinter one. I don't know if it'll go as viral as some of the other ones, but I just like I'm talking to like Johan Blake. He's like the second fastest man in world history, and I'm like, talking to some really interesting people who I used to look up to kind of like be in that challenge with me and kind of coach me and guide me in the right direction. So I'm excited about that one. There's some very outside the box ones. So one of them is like, there's all this crazy like benefits I've read about like semen retention. So I think like doing that for 30 days, it's just like people are going to click that video. 100%. So there's all these very outside the box, just different, not all of them are like directly fitness challenges. Like I'm doing 2 of them right now. I'm doing weighted abs every day. And I'm trying to see like how crazy of an ab transformation I can do in 30 days. So that's very like directly doing this fitness thing every day. But then some of them are very outside the box, like semen retention, or like I did one where I did like ice plunges every day. And yeah, those are some of the ones off the top of my head.
Yeah, that Death Valley one reminds me of the Goggins story where he did bad water.
Yeah.
And he has to run every 10 minutes, and they have to dump water on you when you're running because it's like a 100-mile race through Death Valley.
Right.
So that one,
that guy's crazy.
I gotta pay attention to when you post that because I want to watch that. It sounds like it'd be a good one.
Yeah, nice. It's gonna be painful, but I think it'll be worth it.
Yeah.
Dude, that'd be sick if you could do a collab with David Goggins on something crazy like that.
Oh hell yeah. He's like the ultimate like superhuman mentality, at least like the way he can just push himself and ignore pain. Like he's really interesting to study.
Do you think that'll happen one day?
Hopefully. He definitely like I'd love to reach out to him and collab. So potentially.
David Goggins, if you're watching this.
He's definitely watching.
Yeah, no, but you could definitely tell you're the creative genius behind all this stuff that's going on with the YouTube channel and the brand. So I think that's something that we have to do more of with our YouTube channel.
Just talking to you, I'm like already getting ideas. I'm like, dude, we're severely lacking on the content game.
Dude, I had such a negative perception of like my own content for like years up until maybe like yesterday or something. Like I grew like a following just from like, I don't know, just posting workout videos. Like I was in pretty good shape. I used to work out with this guy named the Godfather of Bodybuilding. His name's Charles Glass. So I lived in Los Angeles, and I kind of grew my YouTube because I would do workout videos with him. And like he's a genius. He trained The Rock and Wesley Snipes. He trained Debo. One time I was at the gym working out, and he's like, Debo was just chilling there talking to him. If you guys have seen like Next Friday, all that. Yeah. So R.I.P. to Debo, by the way. He passed away. So my channel kind of grew just collaborating with him. And I just felt like in the back of my mind for years, I was like, there's so many other people that are in good shape doing workout videos. Like, this isn't interesting. But I was just so used to doing it. And, you know, even my business partner, he kind of like, was like, you should do like more unique outside the box, like challenges, different things. Like, people don't need to know how to do a chest press anymore. Like, that's been figured out. And I just got really burnt out on doing how-to fitness videos. And even now when I see him, like, there's people who get, you know, pull millions of views, but even I see him, I'm like, man, I'm so glad I'm, like, not in that mindset of, like, you know, educating people on the best science-backed, you know, shoulder workout. And those kind of videos have so much negativity, too. People will argue in the comments, like, oh, this guy's on steroids. Oh, no, he's not. He's too small to be on steroids. Oh, that's not the right form. My trainer said this and that. And my big mission in life is I just want to inspire as many people as possible. And I felt like I wasn't doing it with like those kind of videos. So I wish I had this like insight in 2017. I think my channel would have like millions of subscribers, but I guess like better late than never. So like now I'm all about my content. I want to just truly inspire people. Like I want to do challenges that are outside the box that truly inspire people to like push themselves on their own fitness journey. And most importantly, it's stuff that I'm actually excited to make now.
Dude, I feel like we're in the same spot right now in terms of business. Where like we make videos talking about business, how to start a cleaning business, things like that. But we're just so similar, like just, you know,
talking head.
Just talking head content. And
right.
It's like, yeah, I see our content. I feel the same way. It's like we're not that different. Why would people want to click on this, right? And we don't get viral videos. Like it shows, right? So
what do you want to kind of take the content? Do you have any crazy outside the box ideas you haven't produced yet?
What ideas you got going on?
Dude, I'm getting ideas, man. I'm getting ideas. Like one that's always come to my brain that I think we should do. The biggest thing holding us back has just been detracting focus from our current business, which is just starting a cleaning business from scratch and growing it to like $50K a month in like 90 days or something.
Yeah.
And documenting the whole process. Like I think that it'd be unique because no one's done it. It would add a lot of credibility to our brand because like we teach house cleaning, we've done house cleaning, and we have all the screenshots and receipts and stuff. But to film a whole like documentary style video on taking something from dirt to producing revenue and profit, would go a long way to our audience because like, oh shit, like I could probably do this. It's not that difficult. Yeah. That's the biggest one that comes to my head. It's just it would take some time and effort.
Yeah, That's an amazing content idea, though, because I feel like that kind of content, people are used to clicking on those videos and it's just talking head. And they're just kind of like rehashing what they did. But if people click on the video and it's like, all right, it's day one. In 90 days, we're going to make X amount. And you guys just literally, it's like a 30-minute kind of like documentary. That'd be amazing.
Dude, yeah.
I think with the right title and thumbnail, I think that's worthy of like 1 million+ views for sure.
You get me fired up, man. Yeah, we gotta do it. We gotta do it now.
Dude, I feel like maybe one of our, I guess, struggles a little bit is like, you are like super focused on content. You do the creative stuff too, but you have Jordan doing the operational stuff, and I think we overlap a little bit too much. Where like maybe if I took on more operational stuff, you did more than that. Yeah. I guess it's a separate conversation, but I could see that in us. So
I'm very fortunate that like Jordan doesn't give a shit about posting on social media, creating content. So he definitely fills a lot of the things that like I'm not good at or the things that I don't want to do. And that's kind of been like that from the start. Like I don't think Jordan's posted on Instagram in like a year or two. Like he just doesn't he doesn't care. Like he just hates social media. So he's like a true operator where I truly love creating things. Like one of my big bucket list things is I want to make a movie someday. Like if I ever did part ways with Outflying, like years down the track, I think I would invest millions of dollars and like just spend a year of my life traveling and like making a movie. Like to me, that would be the ultimate like creative thing to do. It'd be really hard to do, but it'd be the most fulfilling.
Really? What kind of movie? Do you have an idea on that?
I'd literally want to take like a year off and just decompress and really figure it out. Like I really like.
I could see you doing some type of like I'm biking across Africa, like that challenge for a year or something, or like running across Africa or something.
That's a tough. I guess that'd be more like a documentary style. I don't know. Definitely be something kind of like combining sports that motivates people and also has like a little bit of a funny side too. Like a lot of the movies I like I really like the Social Network movie back in the day. I think it was executed really well. I love Limitless, even though it wasn't like a true story. I don't know. There's something like kind of cool and motivational about it.
Yeah.
So I love sports movies too. Like there hasn't been a ton of really great sports movies. Like I'm a massive sports fan. So I probably gravitate towards something with like basketball or football. But I have to really think about it because if I'm investing like 2 years of my life and potentially millions of dollars into a movie, like you really got to do some research. I honestly want to think about like what I could create that could be a media franchise. Because that's the most profitable thing you could do. Like, I was on Wikipedia one day, and I just went down the rabbit hole of, like, looking at media franchises. Like, the 200 or it was either 100 or 200 most successful media franchise of all time has made $1 billion. So there's been a couple hundred media franchises that have all made over $1 billion. I think number 200 was, like, NBA Jam. So, like, imagine, like, The Hangover. It was a movie idea, but it's a media franchise. There's merchandise. There's all this other like revenue streams from it. So I probably want to like really figure out like what's not only a movie, but a media franchise.
Do you feel like a media franchise would be as predictable as like starting a company? Because like from someone who doesn't know anything about movies, I feel like it feels even more like a lottery pick, you know, to get a movie that goes viral like that.
From what I've seen, I mean, once you get a couple hits though, like, you know, it's pretty easy to raise the money to, you know, get all the directors and producers and stuff that you need. Like Reese Witherspoon, I think, sold her production company for like $950 million.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry to cut you off. What was the question?
Well, the question was just like, does it seem like as predictable as like starting a business? Like,
no, not at all. Because you're basically like creating something that's going to be a phenomenon in culture. So I think that, but that's kind of what excites me about it is like a lot of the things I've learned in internet marketing applies to movies. Like if you looked at like the freaking Barbie movie, there is a massive internet marketing strategy and paid media strategy with that movie. So I probably combine like everything I've learned through like paid media and organic social media marketing. Obviously, like if I had a lot of business success under my belt that time, and let's say hypothetically like years down the track, like, you know, I've exited the company. I'm like, oh, this 9-figure like entrepreneur is doing this thing. Like, I feel like it's easier to like do these things now. Mm-hmm. Where if you're just like some dude who's never accomplished anything in his life, like I want to make a movie.
Definitely.
Then it's like your chances of success are like slim to none. But I definitely approach it like a business for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything you feel like we didn't ask that you want to share?
Let's see. We touched on Elfline. Touched on YouTube. We touched on the movie thing. Maybe like a little bit about sports, basketball, any of that stuff. Because that's kind of like where a lot of this passion came from.
Did you play basketball in high school?
Yeah, so I played in high school and I played in college for a year.
Okay.
And it was like, if you would have told me at like 16 that I wouldn't be a pro basketball player, I'd be like, all right, I'm just gonna jump off this bridge now. I was so obsessed. That's kind of where like it became so easy for me to work out when I stopped playing basketball, because I was used to just practicing like 4 hours a day. So I was like, this is easy. You just like lift weights for an hour and a half a day. It's simple.
Yeah.
So like a lot of how I got into like supplements and fitness and everything was just because I was obsessed with basketball and like training and working out. So I went to a sports academy called IMG.
Yeah.
And if you heard of it, it's this crazy place. So I was fortunate enough. It wasn't planned like this, but my family moved to Florida when I was in 9th grade, and I was 20 minutes away from IMG Academy. So I like begged my mom and dad. I'm like, you have to send me here. You have to send me here. So it's basically like this training academy for like these prodigy athletes. So at the time when I was there, like one of my classmates was Freddie Adu. He was like a soccer phenom. A chick who graduated the same year as me, ESPN was at our graduation because she had won an LPGA tournament. So it was this like crazy sports academy. I was teammates with several guys who made the NBA.
Dang.
So I was around a very high level of like athlete at a young age, and I was like, I wanted to like be like that. And I'm like, well, if I'm not going to be a pro athlete, the next best thing is like I want to like start a brand that's still tied into sports and fitness. Mm-hmm. And now we're at a point where we can partner with like Hall of Fame athletes like Ken Griffey Jr. And we have different, I was talking to a Hall of Fame NBA player like on our Instagram like a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, this is crazy. Like I used to watch your dunk highlights. Now I'm like talking about sending you supplements.
Yeah.
It was just like now really like weird things are happening where I'm kind of like back in that world of like sports and basketball and entertainment.
It's awesome, man. Did you end up playing like D1 and actually go into like, I don't know, G League or anything like that? What's that story?
I don't know if the G League even existed when I was like in college, but so I went to Eckerd. It's a Division II school, and then I had a spot on the team at FAU. It's kind of like a walk-on spot, which is Division I my sophomore year. And I was just like a head case at that time. That's kind of when I decided to give up basketball. I had like a foot issue with like my bone, and one of my feet, it just like fucked up. It just like projects forward. So I was having all these issues with like blood blisters and fractures. I was still decent, but I knew I had no chance of like going pro at that time. So I had like a walk-on spot. My parents are going through a divorce. I was going through like my first like big breakup, and I just kind of like everything happened at the same time. I'm like, I'm going to quit. And from that point on, I never played competitive basketball again. And it was literally like that same year is when I started working out every day.
Wow.
How old were you when you quit?
20-ish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you ever regret it?
No, because I know like best case scenario, I could have maybe went pro and like played in some B league in like Latvia and made like 30, 40K a year or something. Maybe not even that. Like I think I maybe could have like been a shitty pro player in some obscure league in some obscure country. But like I'm still pretty good. Like I can hold my own against like D1 players, and like I'm like old and way past my prime. I can still jump, I can still dunk a basketball. So like I take a lot of pride in being a good athlete, but I don't regret it because like now like I have the potential to make like pro athlete NBA like money with what I do. And you have a way longer career in business, and I've learned so many skills. I've learned how to deal with adversity, where like a lot of these like NBA guys, you go pro and get paid 19, 20. It's like they've never dealt with any kind of adversity. Like a lot of them are going to struggle the minute, shit hits a fan,
It's true.
Yeah, the minute they start to age out. That's what I like about business, dude. It's like, there's still kind of that feeling of like it's a game.
Yeah.
And it's also the only thing where you can continually get better with time, as opposed to something like basketball where, you get to 33, 34, you're starting to regress, father time's kicking in.
Yeah.
So
100%.
Yeah, the revenue is definitely the scoreboard.
Yeah.
In business.
For sure.
I think that's what drives us too. It's like, you just want to make as much money as possible. Basically, kind of got the chip on your shoulder type of thing, and you want to prove something. So
definitely have a chip on my shoulder. Like I think I use the fact that I didn't make it as a pro basketball player. Like one of my teammates, I don't know what he's doing now, but it's a weird like comparison thing. But like, so one of my teammates, his name is Michael Beasley. He was so gifted, but he did not work hard at all. So when I was a sophomore, he was a freshman. And he was just so freaking talented. He was 6'8". He was agile. He could shoot. He could dribble. My coach, I remember my coach was talking to my dad in high school. He goes, "Oh yeah, he'll be in the NBA in a few years." And it was like he didn't work as hard as me. And then he gets to the NBA, and he doesn't have a very impressive career. He ended up being the second pick in the NBA draft. He was teammates with like Dwayne Wade, I think LeBron at one time. And he just fizzled out because like he didn't have that work ethic. Like he was so skilled, he took it for granted.
Yeah.
So I don't know why I'm comparing lives with him, but I'm like, it's kind of like if I end up making it out and I'm like, wow, I ended up making way more of a life than this guy, and he had all the talent in the world. Like it's kind of cool that in business, it's not really about how much natural ability you have. Like in basketball and sprinting and a lot of these things, it is so genetic. Like from the day I was born, if I wanted to be the fastest man in world history, I would have zero chance. It is so dependent on like how many fast twitch muscle fibers you have. In basketball, I read this study, every inch that you're taller doubles your chances of making the NBA. And if you're 7 feet tall and you play basketball, you have a 1 in 7 chance of making the NBA.
No way.
Like, how insane is that to think about? 1 in 7, that's pretty good.
That's good odds, dude. That's really good odds.
So I was like, when I heard stuff like that, I'm like, well, what am I going to like be mad that, my mom or dad didn't marry someone taller? It's like stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, so I basically have like a negative 4,000% chance of making it to NBA.
I mean, Muggsy Bogues made it. He's 5'3".
That's true. I wanted to be a baseball player. That was my thing. Like I played baseball when I was a kid, but
what position?
It didn't end up happening. Second base.
Second base.
Yeah.
You know Ken Griffey Jr.?
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Yeah, how did that relationship come about? How'd you meet him and like collab with him?
Is very organic. So a lot of people, because we have a lot of like ads and videos going with him, a lot of people will comment like, oh, how much did you have to pay Griffey to join? And what's crazy is we didn't pay him anything. He found us. He saw one of our videos. He really liked that the brand was transparent and what we stood for. He reached out and we saw that he started following the account. We immediately like sent him a DM, sent him a bunch of supplements, and just created the relationship from there. And then he signed with the brand. It wasn't like a massive salary or anything like that. It was more kind of like royalties. And it was more something that he wanted to join something that he was really proud of and that he could kind of like, obviously he's older now. He's in his 50s. He's taking better care of his health. He's trying to lose some weight, get his edge back. He wanted something that he would feel comfortable taking himself and recommending to his wife and his sons and his family. Yeah,
I think that was probably one of my biggest takeaways from this conversation here is that you guys really care about product. And like that's probably one of the things that propelled you guys the most, just like having a good product. And I think people overlook that. It's like, oh, I want to be the best sales guy or the best marketer, but the good product sells itself.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, combine that too with like best in class product and then really fucking good marketing.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's just a formula for success.
$100 million company.
Yeah. Plus, it's like if your product isn't good, it's going to crush your retention too. So like having a good product is such an important marketing function because like retention is so important. Like the stronger the retention, the more money you can spend to acquire a customer, and it's really the backbone of any like brand.
I'm curious, what does LTV look like if you don't mind sharing on
typically we'll double the revenue after like we acquire a customer for say $100. Typically they'll spend double.
It's solid
over the course of a lifetime. So
there it is.
Yeah,
it's awesome,
which is really good in e-commerce.
Yeah, right? 100%.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you got me fired up to try some Superhuman supplements.
I know. So, forgot to bring some. I'll bring some in next time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, dude, I appreciate you coming on, man. This was awesome. If somebody wants to either buy Alphaline products or check out your YouTube channel, where's the best place to reach out?
So alphaline.com to buy any supplements, and then my social media handle across everything is just Superhuman Troy. I don't call myself Superhuman Troy for the record. I look at it as like a handle, like a memorable handle. So like I have a Lithuanian last name. It's Adishin, and I'm all about like it's kind of a mantra of how I like to live by. So it's like it's a reminder that like I'm always pushing to be the superhuman version of myself. So a lot of people like call me that. You can call me that. It's fine.
I think I opened the pod with Superhuman Troy.
It
just
sounds
so brandable. It's so brandable.
Yeah, it just feels like more marketable than like a weird Lithuanian name that literally only my family like has. I think we're the last family in the world with that name. My last name.
Interesting. Well, dude, we'll hope to have you back, man. Hopefully soon. Get some updates on where Alphaline's been. But again, we appreciate you coming on, and we'll put all that in the link below or in the description down below. But we'll see you in the next one.
Perfect.
Peace.
Fun, guys.